Regarding my colleague's comments about the tennis tournament, and Commissioner Petrolia was referring to the tournament, not the stadium. There has been much misinformation about this long before the campaign started, primarily generated by the benefactor of taxpayer largesse. And let me just kind of lay this out to people in the most simplistic way I can. This tennis tournament, the combination of the Delray Beach Open World Tour, costs taxpayers of this city $1.6 million, more or less, every year. That's cash payment out of city coffers. In addition to that, we contribute in-kind services that city staff, that taxpayers are paying for, and other resources of approximately $350,000. So this tournament alone is costing taxpayers $1 million a year. In addition to that,
it's an escalator. That's this year.
there is the Match Point Champions event, which is a celebrity tournament that costs the city another $420,000 every year. As Commissioner Petrolia mentioned, this property is deed restricted. It will always, in some form, be used as tennis, preferably recreational tennis for our taxpayers from all corners of the city. This notion that there is anybody that is out to undermine the tennis stadium and the tennis facility is just a flat-out lie. I think what this commission did in initiating the lawsuit was to try to stop the hemorrhaging of close to what will be in excess of $60 million paid by the taxpayers of this city for the duration of this contract. $60 million that can go to sidewalks and streets and pipes and parks and recreation programs. This is not some minor amount. And what makes this contract such an egregious lapse of judgment by the people sitting in these seats that signed it, supported it, and the staff that did not question it, is this is a 25-year contract. It's a 25-year contract with no ability of the city to apply any critical analysis, any objective standards. Is this tournament doing what we thought it was going to be doing at a 5-year interval, 10-year interval, 15-year interval? Nothing. In fact, it is such a poorly drafted contract and a poorly conceived initiative. And look, I'm a big believer in context, as I've expressed, that it's unfair to criticize people making a decision that may seem poor today, but in the context of when it was made, might have made sense. There is no context that would support a 25-year contract. In fact, the apologists and supporters of this just abomination of financial ball and chain to this city is show me another city in the state of Florida that has executed a 25-year, $2 million a year obligation with no ability to get out based on performance, based on, is the thesis still sound as to why we need to support this? Nothing. There is no objective standard in this contract by which the taxpayers of this town, the elected leadership of this town, can say, wait a minute, we really don't need to do this anymore because we're popular now. We're not the same town we were 25 years ago. But there's another reason why we are challenging this contract. It's illegal. You can't sign a contract like this. You can't approve a $2 million a year contract, a 25-year contract, without bidding the contract. And to the people that thought the waste management debacle was bad, it pales in comparison to what just it's staggering what this terrible decision is costing our taxpayers year after year, and not for nothing, the stadium is empty. It's not, we've got restaurants and hotels and the service providers that this was touted to support that we can't even support for the people that are already here. And let me tell you something else. If you go to this tournament, the majority of the people in those seats are living here, or they're living nearby. They're not this whole notion of supporting the community is so critically flawed. And look, if it was a one-day event, if it was a couple-day event, and here's the other thing, and this is why I'm so just so fed up with the lies and distortions about this. This is nothing about the city commission in tennis. Look, I play tennis. I like watching tennis tournaments. But you know what? If you want to put a tournament on a public property, then you pay for it. Not the taxpayers. Because I'm telling you, I may like tennis and you may like tennis, but not everybody in this town likes tennis. I can tell you, very few people are going to watch it. But they are paying. I want everybody to know over $2 million a year for tennis tournaments to occur in this town. I'm just, the distortions and misinformation about this are just staggering.
Well, I want to just add one thing too, Mayor. There is a group that is trying to protect this, and it's basically because of the fact they're the ones who did it. It's not good for this city, but there is a group that is protecting this because it's them that basically are owning this. And that's the truth.
Look, I know it. And if they're sitting right here, I'll tell you, I don't know what kind of business experience you have or anybody had that signed that agreement, but that has got to be, in my professional and personal experience, the dumbest contract signed in the history of the city. And I challenge anybody that approved that. Show me another contract in the state of Florida to promote a recreational event that can be done by private industry, committing taxpayers to 25 years and over $2 million a year. Show me that contract. And there's another thing. There's a reason why the legislature of this state is mocking this city. Unfortunately, they chose the wrong party to mock in the CRA by saying, look at, this is why we need to get rid of CRAs, because CRAs are wasting money on tennis tournaments. But the message there is not about the CRAs. The message there is that you are wasting taxpayer money promoting a tennis tournament. So for the people that are enjoying this franchise that is illegal on day one, it's illegal to say, whoever is supporting that, again, show me another city that's done the same thing. So I'm sorry but it's unfortunate that people are being attacked for something they shouldn't be. I heard that the owners of this tournament corralled their volunteers, and they told their volunteers specifically among people that are running for office, look, you can't support certain people because they want to get rid of this tournament. I wasn't there. There's a reason why I wasn't invited, because that is dishonest. It's disingenuous. It's dishonest. I'm going to hold you because you're in the mix, so I'm going to keep you out of it. But I'm not. and I'm just going to tell you, those were flat out lies told to those volunteers, because they asked me. And what they're getting is a one-sided perspective of there are certain elected officials that want to get rid of this tennis stadium and tennis tournament. But what they aren't telling them is they are costing those volunteers that live in this city $2 million a year to put on this tournament that, with the exception of a few days perhaps, is empty. So, I'm just over it. I'm sorry. Meeting adjourned.